The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise. Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning here at 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen.
And I'm Alex Fisher. A busy day yesterday. We have a weather alert for you again this morning as we keep our eyes on our major roadways as snow continues to fall in our mountain communities.
Yeah, let's send you out to the Grapevine this morning, where CHP is currently pacing traffic because of road conditions there. 17's Chris Burton is up there near Fraser Park. And tell us, what does it look like on the roads there, Chris?
Well, Alex, Maddie, good morning. Snow is falling here in Fraser Park, and as you can see behind me, the Grapevine is open. But yes, CHP is pacing traffic at this moment, and as you can see behind me, traffic is moving pretty well right now. Of course, that could change later in the morning as more cars start to come out. Snow is actually just picking up right now in these last couple minutes, and we are expecting more of that snow throughout the morning. So we will keep you updated on the conditions up here. And if you are headed over the Grapevine, just be prepared, please. Keep that food, water, blankets, cold weather gear up in your car. Our car's thermometer reads 29 degrees. It is cold up here, guys. So you definitely don't want to get stuck in something like this. Be careful driving over the Grapevine if you have to this morning. And again, conditions are expected to change. We'll keep you updated on those. But for now, in Fraser Park, Chris Burton, 17 News.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. And Highway 58 is closed in both directions this morning. Here's how things looked yesterday as that storm started to move through. Caltrans says they shut the road down just before 1 o'clock this morning. The closure runs from Tower Line Road to exit 165. Caltrans says maintenance crews are working to clear the trucks from the highway. There's no estimated time for when Highway 58 will reopen.
Time now is 5:04, and from our 17 News follow-up file, an emotional goodbye yesterday to 16-year-old Angel Berumen, who died after he was struck by a hit-and-run driver in January. 17th Marco Torres was there as the teen was remembered.
Photos, posters, and flowers decorated the funeral room. Dozens of family and friends feeling the pain of losing someone who only brought joy into their lives. The funeral was held at Basham Funeral Home. Angel's mother read out a letter she wrote to her son the other day.
I am so sorry that I was so hard on you. I know I missed out on so many opportunities to give you another hug or tell you that I love you.
Angel's grandfather is heartbroken after the loss of his grandson, who died days after being hit on January 27th by a driver who fled the scene near Niles Street and Brentwood Drive in East Bakersfield.
I feel a lot of pain, and I just want everybody to please take care of your children and make them understand to be careful when they're out on the public sidewalk.
But even in death, Angel is helping save others.
5 people out there that get to have a little piece of our Angel inside of them. His heart, his kidneys, his liver, his lungs, and his pancreas. We know that for sure. I know that there's a 46-year-old man out there that has my 16-year-old baby's heart. So I'm just hoping that he treasures it the way we treasured it.
One iconic symbol at the funeral were bees. Since Angel Berumen's loved ones have seen bees since the young man was run over, they consider it a special message from Angel to them. Angel's grandma even got a tattoo of bees to honor her grandson.
I had it put here so that when I go to hug, it's at my heart, and that's where he always had my heart.
Marco Torres, 17 News.
Meantime, a memorial service has been scheduled to remember the life of beloved McFarland High School coach and teacher Fernando Alaniz. Alaniz died in his classroom earlier this month. No students were present. A cause of death has not been released, but he had a history of health issues in the years leading up to his death. Now the public's invited to join a memorial service at the high school. It's happening March 9th at 2 p.m.
Now to an issue we take seriously here at 17 News, pedestrian safety. And one person was taken to the hospital for treatment after being hit by a car last night in Southwest Bakersfield. Police say officers were called to the intersection of California Avenue and Chester Lane just after 10:30 for a vehicle versus pedestrian crash and arrived to find a man down in the roadway with life-threatening injuries. Police say the driver remained at the scene and neither speed nor drugs or alcohol were factors in this crash. The investigation continues.
Your time now is 5:07. In your 17 Crime Watch, a 32-year-old Northwest Bakersfield resident is recovering at home after another man shot him in front of his home Monday night. The victim, who did not want to go on camera, confronted a man breaking into a car outside his house on Jimrick Avenue near Geflin Street right before midnight. BPD says the man was armed with a shotgun and told the resident to go back inside. When the resident turned around, he was shot in the back. The shooter then fled in what police say might be an older model red Toyota Tacoma truck.
It's definitely alarming. You gotta definitely, watch your surroundings and make sure you're safe. And so that's something that, you gotta be careful. I don't know. I wouldn't expect that from this side of town.
Police later learned that 3 suspects were circulating the neighborhood attempting to break into vehicles. Several security cameras in the neighborhood caught one of the men trying to open car doors, including this video from a neighbor who lives 5 houses down. If you have any information regarding the incident, you're asked to call Bakersfield Police at 327-7111.
5:36 is our time now, and for the first time, President Biden acknowledged the beginning of a Russia invasion of Ukraine.
As promised, the president slapping sanctions on Russia and warning more severe consequences could come. NBC's Bree Jackson reports with the latest from Washington.
Rationale to go much further. This is the beginning of a Russian invasion of Ukraine.
President Biden not mincing words, strongly condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which is officially underway.
This is a flagrant violation of international law and demands a firm response from the international community.
The president touting Germany's announcement it's hitting the brakes on Russia's massive gas pipeline and laying out U.S. sanctions against Russian banks, elites, and finances.
That means we've cut off Russia's government from Western financing.
In addition, U.S. troops already stationed in Europe are relocating to Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania.
Let me be clear. These are totally defensive moves on our part. We have no intention of fighting Russia.
Critics say the president's actions are too little, too late. Republican Lindsey Graham tweeting, the sanctions are woefully inadequate.
Mr. President, you're playing footsie with Putin and you're losing.
There's growing fear among some Ukrainians. Now that Russia recognizes the independence of 2 states in eastern Ukraine, territory controlled by the Ukrainian government.
It's a time of sadness, it's a time of war, of death.
Ukraine's president says he won't give in and is calling up national reserves. Meanwhile, diplomatic options are running low. Secretary of State Blinken calling off this week's meeting with his Russian counterpart. White House officials say a Biden-Putin summit is now unlikely. President Biden again warned that sanctions against Russia could impact gas prices here at home, which are already high. The president pledges to use every tool at his administration's disposal to limit price hikes. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
In your 17 Core Watch this morning, a man accused of beating an 8-year-old girl to death 2 years ago has pleaded no contest to charges of first-degree murder. Cameras installed inside the home where the killing happened captured 39-year-old Clint Mason beating the girl with a belt and metal cane. She begged him to stop, and he ignored her. The girl later died. The fatal injuries were inflicted March 17, 2020. Court filings state prior to the attack, Mason was angry with the girl, his girlfriend's daughter, for not doing her homework and household chores. Mason faces 25 years to life in prison at his sentencing, scheduled for March 22nd.
Your time now is 5:38, and the mother of one of 3 young men killed in a New Year's Eve 2020 crash is being sued by the mother of another victim. The lawsuit states that Alice Hutchings, the mother of Devin Lietha, one of the men who died, is being sued because those in the car, all of whom were below the drinking age, are believed to have consumed alcohol at her home on Lee River Street. Attorney Matthew C. Clark says she is believed to have been home when they were drinking. One of the revelers, Adam Teasdale, got behind the wheel afterward. He crashed nearby, killing Atha, Timothy Michael Wilson, and Andrew Nicholas Ortiz, also 20. Teasdale, 20 at the time, is alleged to have been impaired and is facing trial on 3 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. Clark is representing the mother of Ortiz. Teasdale has a hearing tomorrow to schedule a trial date. A hearing regarding the lawsuit is scheduled for April 20th.
Making headlines around the state this morning, and firefighters responded to an emergency situation overnight of a major fire in downtown Los Angeles. Take a look at this. More than 150 firefighters battled the blaze at a commercial building. Large plumes of smoke and massive flames could be seen coming from the roof of a combination 1- and 2-story building. According to LAFD, it took just over an hour to take down the fire. No one was hurt.
Meantime, a procession was held yesterday for a Southland police officer killed in a helicopter crash while responding to a call over the weekend. Officer Nicholas Vela was a 14-year veteran of Huntington Beach Police Department. He died Saturday night when the police department helicopter he was riding in crashed into the waters off Newport Beach. The other officer survived. The pilot had reported mechanical issues before the helicopter went down. Vela leaves behind a wife and teenage daughter.
The driver of a stolen party bus led California Highway Patrol officers on a lengthy chase yesterday, eventually ending with a crash. Authorities say the 40-foot limo bus was reportedly stolen in the San Diego area. The pursuit started on the 405 freeway in the San Fernando Valley and continued through several Southern California cities. The bus eventually slammed into the rear end of a car and drifted into oncoming traffic. The bus rolled to a stop and the driver ended up exiting the vehicle, surrendering with his hands raised.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.